Sean is with me and the boys are with me and we're driving. So we are on our road trip, but we needed to film our No Tag Tuesday questions. So we figured, why not, when we're in the car already, let's just go ahead and film them and get these questions answered. So if you're returning and already subscribed to my channel, a big welcome back. I really appreciate that. And these no tag questions are just one thing that you're going to get on the channel. You're going to get grocery hauls and no tag questions and recipe collab, all kinds of things. So I'm so happy that you're returning and that you enjoy these videos. And if you're just finding me, this is a great time to find us. You're going to learn a little bit about us today. Never know what's going to come up or come out when we have no tag questions. So it's always fun though. And this is a once a month collab that probably about 10 or 12 channels participate each time. And a few people take turns asking the questions for all of us to answer. So this month, July, is Get to Know My Past, and it is brought to us by Sandy over at Life with Sandy. So thank you, Sandy, for these questions. And it's always fun because even I learned something. Like last month, I learned something about Sean that I didn't know. So even after 28 years of marriage, I learned something. So anyway, I'm super glad you're here. If you're new, please like and comment. Let me know you're here, how you found me, and subscribe most of all. So it might be a little noisy. The air conditioner's on. It is hot today, and we're a little sweaty from stopping for lunch. So we might be a little bit of a hot mess. All right, now I'm going to ask the questions. I'm going to let Sean answer first, and then I'm going to answer. And as always, I'm going to link the questions in the description below, and then you'll have a chance to answer the questions, and I'm going to link all the channels that are participating, so then you can go and check out their answers, because we have some pretty awesome YouTubers, and if you're not already subscribed to their channels, I recommend it because they are amazing. All right, first question. Get to know my past. Did anyone, either related or not, live with you when you were a child? And I'm assuming, Sandy, that this means other than our like little nuclear family, you know, mom, dad, brothers and sisters. So did anyone, either related or not, live with you when you were a child, Sean?
No.
Okay, well, that was short and sweet. And those of you that know Sean, it is not short and sweet normally. Okay, no. Okay, I did have someone live with me. I don't know if you consider it a child. I was in high school. I guess, yes, technically I was a child. But yes, I had someone live with me my junior year of high school. We had an exchange student, and we are still friends to this day. His name is Peter Tapper, and he was from Sweden. And he stayed our whole junior year, and it was so fun. It was a little strange at first to have someone like totally different and new in our household, and that was going to be going to school. So it was a whole adventure, like getting him enrolled and getting him used to all the American ways. And we learned a lot from him too. I mean, I had my first crepe that he fixed for us, and we met his mom and sister because they came over at Christmas to spend time with us. Miss Ingrid, she had the same birthday as my mom, so that was a little tidbit that we didn't know. And his sister Anna, and we're still good friends today. She came to visit. They stayed a little bit after Christmas, so she was able to go back to school and go for a couple of days, go to our high school. So that was neat. I mean, and we're lifelong friends. So anyway, yes, Peter Tapper from Sweden lived with us. All right, number 2. Do your family members live close to you? All right, Sean.
Mine don't. We live in Phoenix City, Alabama, and my mother and father live in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Okay.
So it's 586 miles. Matter of fact, that's where we're headed right now.
Yep. And you don't have a lot of other family left.
No, they've all come and gone, and there's a few of them out there, but
out west. Way out west.
Colorado,
and yeah, they're all in Colorado, aren't they? Okay. Yeah, they're all in Colorado. Okay. My family, some live close, some don't live close. So like my brother and my sister-in-law and my nieces, they all live within like 30 minutes of me. My mom lives in Fayetteville, North Carolina, so she's not really close. It's like 8 hours. My daughter and her husband, Justin, and my 3 three of my grandchildren live in Virginia Beach, Virginia. My son-in-law is in the Navy, so they live there. So that's about 14 hours. And the next closest is my son, my oldest son. He and my granddaughter, so Jeffrey and Carly, live in Eufaula, Alabama. So I have aunts and another brother that are also in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and a nephew. So anyway, not terribly close. Most of them, my brother and then my oldest son, and then our baby son lives in Birmingham. So we're kind of scattered, but on the, in the South and East Coast. All right, number 3. Did your family have any special traditions growing up?
Yes.
Okay.
We would have Murray potatoes and prime rib at Thanksgiving because my pop don't like turkey. And that's a pretty darn good meal. I mean, and now Murray potatoes are a big thing. They're called double stuffed or twice baked or something like that. But
we just call them Murray potatoes.
Back in the old days, it wasn't like that. We could call them Murray potatoes.
So you usually only had that at Thanksgiving?
Only.
Okay, prime rib. All right. Any other traditions? Special traditions?
Birthdays and Christmas, and that's about it.
Okay, that's about it.
We were pretty much on the down low.
All right, I guess we were on the real down low because we didn't really have any special traditions. I mean, I guess the only thing that you could say was a tradition. I don't know that it's necessarily special, but at Thanksgiving, when I was growing up, I guess probably up till middle school, we didn't know, not so much during high school. We did a little bit during high school. We would always go out of town. We would rotate. My grandmother and all of her sisters, we would rotate where we would go for Thanksgiving. So one year it might be in Eufaula, one year it might be in Demopolis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so that every year we knew that we were going somewhere different for Thanksgiving. And so I guess that counts as a tradition. But I mean, really, other than that, we always went to the big house. What they called the big house was my grandmother and my granddad lived. My mother's parents at the time. My stepmom. I have a mom and a mom. I have 2 moms. So my stepmom. That's where her family, what they called the big house, and that's where when I was growing up, all the family reunions were before we quit having them. So every Christmas we would go there. The whole family would go to the big house. Even Sean, I think, went to the big house.
Several times.
Yeah. All right.
But before we go any further, but we do have one for ours. We always fix chilies for Christmas for our present family.
Oh yeah.
And then we have brothers-in-laws and sisters-in-laws and their kids come. But everybody's getting a little bit older, so
it's getting smaller every year.
Yeah. So now we're kind of waiting for them to start producing some offspring.
Well, I guess if you want to say our present family, that is our tradition. I mean, we've done it for 28 years, 29 years.
Yep.
1 year we took it to the big house. We took a chili bar to the big house, and every year since then it stuck. We do not make a traditional Christmas meal. Our Christmas meal is a chili bar, green chili and regular chili and all the fixins. And I do try to deviate sometimes, and I'll ask, and they go, "No, we want the chili bar." So,
and we're pretty darn good at fixing that. Let me tell you that too.
It's pretty good. It's not too many points either for those of us that are on Weight Watchers. In fact, the green chili is 0 points.
So if you want to know about it,
maybe I'll make a video for that.
We'll make a video for it because it is phenomenal.
Yes. Okay, we are getting sidetracked.
Okay.
So number 4, what was a family favorite meal growing up? I guess you kind of answered that, but don't you have something else?
No, that wasn't my favorite meal.
Okay.
My family favorite meal, I would have to say goulash and a green salad.
Growing up, that was your favorite meal?
That was my favorite meal that we ate at home. My mom fixed. My favorite meal was when we lived in Germany. We lived by a guest house, so we ate Jägerschnitzel meat.
Okay.
Potato balls and spatzel and cabbage, pickled cabbage and sweet German pickles.
Ooh.
And if you think back to our other video, I'm fixing to take care of that when Wendy takes me next month or so to Helen, Georgia. Then going to the beach.
But we're going to get our passports, so...
Yeah, we got to get a little worldwide.
We got to get a little worldwide here, people.
Amy with Humans, our other friend.
Amy from the UK.
Fellow humans. She's got me all hung up on this Dubai business.
We're going to Germany. We're going to go to Dubai.
We'll swing through Germany to Frankfurt, and then we'll cruise on down, and we'll get to Dubai some way.
All right. I really didn't have a favorite meal growing up. I mean, if I'm honest, my mom, my stepmom, did not cook a lot. Like, we ate out a lot. I didn't really learn how to cook till I was a grown woman, and Sean's mom taught me how to cook. I did not know how to cook. But
now she's tough.
I didn't know how to cook till like 28 years ago, honest to goodness, a can or a box. But what meals that my mom did make, I mean, they were really good. And my daddy was a little bit picky, but one of his favorite meals was chili. So we always had chili. And he was a hunter, so we always had, like, those of you that eat venison, I do like the fried backstrap. We had that. Or if he, killed dove, we would have dove and gravy and rice. So those were pretty much my favorite meals growing up that were cooked at home. All right, Sean's over here going, nope, not having any of that.
I do all my fishing and hunting at Publix and Winn-Dixie.
Don't listen to him. Okay.
I can do all that stuff, but I'm just not a gamey type eating guy.
Well, I don't really love any of it except backstrap and fried, and that's not really conducive on my Weight Watchers. So, anyway, number 5. Did you have special traditions associated with your favorite meals? So, these are good questions, Sandy. They just led into each other.
Yeah.
So, I guess your Thanksgiving, I mean, there's not a special tradition associated with that. It's just what you had at your meal for Thanksgiving.
Well, it wasn't a special tradition, but, I had a lot of special traditions, but I don't know. I'm confused a little on that one.
Did you have special traditions associated with your favorite meals? I did not. Like, when we had chili or whatever, there was no special traditions. The only special tradition is now, as our family, that we always get together and cook that chili bar together as a family. And I guess that's our tradition, is that we do it. We get up, do it together every Christmas morning, and that's how we spend our morning, is cooking that chili bar. All right, number 6. Okay, where did you meet your spouse or partner? There's a terrible funny story with this one.
So I was stationed in Eufaula, Alabama on a little construction team.
Keep it PG.
And me and my partner, Gary Rozier, he was in the Coast Guard with me. We had gone to Dothan and had bought a bottle of cologne and Miami Hurricanes. This is how long ago it was.
Yeah, 29 years ago.
Yeah. So the next day, I was actually on leave then, but the next day I was actually headed home to spend the holidays with Mom and Pop.
Look at the road.
And yeah, and by the way, we're going 90 miles an hour.
No, we are
We're going
not.
72 miles an hour on Interstate 65.
We're being safe.
Yeah. And he was headed back to Illinois, and we were coming back into town, and I don't know.
Eufaula is a little bitty place. It's grown since then, but it was a little bitty, not much to do place.
We had ate dinner at Red Lobster already, but so we were coming in, and the MSG got us, so we said, hey, let's just get a beer. Let's just have one beer, or maybe a Jack and Coke, and because I was going to spend the night with him, because I already cleaned my apartment and everything was closed up, and that's just what we were going to. Well, next thing I know,
where was that?
That was at a bar called Mysteries in Eufaula on Randolph Street, and Wendy Lou was in there.
I'm going to interject now, because this is the same story, of course. I had never been to a bar before. I went there. And honest to goodness, it was after my divorce. Sean and I have been married almost 28 years.
November
4th will be 28 years. But I was recently divorced, and I had a really good friend in Eufaula, and it was
Amy.
her name was Anna, and it was at the bar at Mysteries. It was just a little hole in the wall bar. It was like quarter beer night and dart night, and so you could go get a quarter beer and you could play darts. I was like, I don't know, it's just not my thing to go to a bar, I've never been. So anyway, I went out with her to shoot darts and get a quarter beer, which I had never been to a bar, never ordered a beer in a bar. So in walks Mr. Murray here. He had a ball cap on. What caught my attention was, one, he wasn't from Eufaula. He had on a Coast Guard sweatshirt and a pair of khaki shorts and some flip-flops, and he had the sexiest legs I had ever seen in my life.
And I still do.
And he still does. They were tanned, and I was like, oh, he's very good looking. So anyway, as the night went on, he sent me a beer, and the rest is history. We're going to leave it at that.
Yeah, because it gets a little bit.
The rest is history.
But she did forget one point.
What?
As I said, we had left Red Lobster. And anyways, I had to go to the bathroom when we first got there. And the bathroom in that place is all the way at the back.
All the way at the back.
And when we were walking, Gary Ray was behind me because I could easily get distracted. And Wendy tapped me on the shoulder. And she said, "Hey, is your name Sean Murray?" And Gary was like, "Keep going, keep going, keep going."
Don't stop, don't stop.
Because once I stopped, then, oh, Lord, here we go. And
although he wasn't from town, his name was around town. We're going to leave that in that, too.
Eek.
And that might have been the night, if you've seen one of our other videos, that he talked about the coaster that he has.
Yeah, I got a Bud Light, Budweiser, not a Bud Light, Jesus God. What did I say that?
That was the night I wrote him a note on the coaster.
Budweiser.
You'll have to go back and find that video, or I'll link it. Okay.
And the days preceding that could be a whole video on its own, but I'm not even going to get involved in that.
All right, so we met in a little bar in Eufaula called Mysteries.
And it was a great bar.
It was a fun little place.
Everybody knew everybody, and
he has since passed away. He had a very tragic accident, but the bartender, Willie, he was the funnest bartender. It was sweet. I didn't frequent it a lot, but I would go for darts or whatever. It was just fun. It was fun.
It wasn't far from my house.
No, it wasn't far from the house.
I could walk.
Which was a good thing.
But the good things.
Okay,
Yep.
Moving on. Number 7. What was your first house or apartment like when you moved out of your childhood home?
My first.
Right from home to Coast Guard.
My first house apartment was on a 180-foot buoy tender in Alaska.
You moved out of the house onto the ship.
But my first official by myself was in Beaufort, North Carolina.
With an apartment? You shared that, didn't you?
Yeah. Corbin was my roommate. HS1 McCormick. Corman.
Was it just a regular?
Yeah, it was behind Roses in IGA or something like that, or Food Lion.
Okay.
It was, so you left there and went over the little bridge, and then you were back in Morehead City and go down a little bit more, then you go over the big bridge over the Atlantic Beach to the Coast Guard Station.
Awesome.
That's mine.
All right, mine was an apartment, and it's when I got married the first time. I moved out. We moved into an apartment, and it was actually like almost at the end of our neighborhood street. It was a set of apartments there, and it's just a basic, just 1-bedroom apartment. Nothing, just basic. But I mean, for me at the time, it was neat. I was having housekeeping for the first time, and it was pretty neat. Nothing special, just a regular apartment. All right. Number 8. Did your family take trips or go on vacation to any certain destinations?
Yes and no. My pop's not a big vacation taker. So when we lived in Germany, Mama would go through the, I don't know what it was called, but the travel agency system. And we would go to, I don't know, we would go to Greece, and then we would get something, whatever it was going on there, and then wherever the crystal was down there, we would go there, and then we traveled a little bit, me and Mom, but Pop's not a big vacation. The only one vacation we've taken is since JD came around. We actually bought a minivan, specifically, we bought the minivan for Wendy because she felt like she needed a minivan with JD, but and we drove to San Antonio, Texas, and went to SeaWorld.
And the Alamo, and all that. They went on vacation with us. That was fun.
That's probably the first and last time that's ever going to happen.
Yeah. And, JD was what, maybe?
So he was
6 or 7, maybe?
Yeah, he was still little.
Yeah, that was a very fun vacation. My dad wasn't that he wasn't a vacation person. He liked to do the same things. So we cycled between two vacations, if you want to call it that. We would either go to the beach and go deep sea fishing, or we would every year go to the Disney World, Ocala, where the glass bottom boats were every year. So one of those other places. That's pretty much was my vacation.
The springs.
It's not the hot springs, but It's where the glass bottom boat, Silver Springs.
Yes.
Goodness, Silver Springs. It's where the Creature from the Black Lagoon was filmed.
Yeah.
And I've got pictures of me when I was a little girl with my head hanging over the pigtails looking at the glass bottom boats. So anyway, that I could look forward to one of those two things every year. All right. Are you still friends with any of your childhood friends?
That's a 10-4. Scotty Hurst in Enterprise, Alabama was I was in first grade, second grade, third grade. I didn't leave there until I was in 6th grade, and we were inseparable. And I used to stay at Miss Hurst and Mr. Hurst. He was a postman in Enterprise. And yes, me and Scotty are still friends. And Jeff Davis, my friend from high school, we're friends, but we haven't seen each other. But Troy, and my ride or die one was Troy. He's in Virginia, and I've seen him several times. Matter of fact, he stayed with us a while when he was going back and forth with Oshkosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do.
Well, I don't live far from where I grew up, so I am still friends with a lot of friends that I grew up with, a lot of friends that I went to high school with. But my very best friend that I met in the 6th grade is Penny. She was Penny Money. Now she's Penny Carter. And we met in 6th grade when they moved from Oklahoma to Eufaula. And we just became like fast friends. In fact, even today, people will call me Penny and her Wendy. Like, they confuse us. But yes, she is still, all of these years later, like my very, very, very best friend. I don't see her as often as I would, even though we're just an hour apart. But I could call her today, or she could call me, and we would be right there for each other.
She does visit when she has to come to the doctor or
she
shopping.
She does visit, but we don't see each other, a lot. But we are very, very dear friends. All right, last question. Do any events stand out to you that you experienced as a child?
Good ones or bad ones?
Well, Sandy didn't clarify. She just said, do any events stand out? I hadn't heard any of these people, so this might be a surprise.
Do any events stand out that you were a child?
Yeah, anything you experienced as a child stand out in your memory?
Well, yeah, lots of things, but probably the biggest one, well, two of them. I met with great success with shooting skeet. That stands out, and had a wonderful opportunity with that. But anyways, and before I say the second one, I have to say I'm an extremist. I'm either extremely good or extremely bad. There's no in between with me. So maybe in some youthful excitement, may have not worked out the way it should have, and that led me to the Coast Guard. Because my original intentions were, I was set on going to work at the shipyard. I was already hooked up for the apprenticeship program, and I'd be done now. But anyways, the Coast Guard happened, and that was the best thing ever happened to me. And because now today I'm pretty, not super successful, but I'm pretty good at what I do, because I learned a lot of valuable things in the Coast Guard. Yes.
All right, is that it? All right, so I think I have two. One of them is just because I was just bad, and I probably haven't ever told anybody this. There's a few people that know it. The first one, though, is when my brother must have been, he was like, I think he was elementary school. I don't think he was middle school yet. And we lived in this little community called Edgewood in Eufaula, and he was over at a friend's house, and they were changing gas out of one mini bike out of the other mini bike, and whether he should have been there, parents were there or not there, I don't know, but somehow the gas ignited, and not knowing any better, he grabbed the water hose to put out the fire, and it flamed, and it burned him severely bad. And that was my first experience with like a medical emergency. Like, thankfully, we got him to the hospital, but he spent a lot of time in the hospital getting care for his burns, a long time. That really is just an experience of my childhood that is ingrained here, as I'm sure it's in his memory that I will never forget. And then the other experience was not so much my experience. Well, it was my experience when my daddy got through with me, but it was my brother's experience because I was not very nice. We had a little skate rink in our town, and we went skating, and my good friend Penny and I decided we would leave the skating rink when we weren't supposed to leave the skating rink. And this is where I just learned to just listen to your parents and do what you're supposed to do, and because you just never know what's going to happen. And in the process of us not being at the skating rink, my brother fell and broke his hand. And instead of getting me in trouble, he sat there and suffered until I could get back and we could get home and get his hand sanded back because he didn't want to tell me to get me in trouble.
Oh.
So yeah, so
Good
I was not a good sister, and I did not listen to my parents, and so that experience is ingrained into my memory as well. So thankfully, I grew up to be not mean like that. That was not very nice of me, and I've apologized to him. But David, I love you, and I'm so sorry. All right.
Another one came up on me.
What?
When I got bit by the snake.
Oh, well, that's not childhood though.
I don't know. It brought me damn close to childhood. That got out of hand quick.
Yeah, that's another video.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all the questions. Okay, we went 26 minutes on this video. Oh my goodness. Well, if you've been with us this long, thank you for hanging with the questions. And thank you again, Sandy, over at Life with Sandy, for the questions. They were really good, honestly. Brought up some good memories and some not so good memories. Anyway, it's okay. So I'm going to link the questions below. I'm going to link the channels that are participating, and please go over and show them some wonderful YouTube love. And please like, subscribe, and share this video if you liked it and you want to see more. And I will be back soon with some more of my road trip video. But until then, I will see you guys later. Have a great day.